Hi, I'm Fiddlin' Ray. Welcome to the Fiddle Dojo. Today we're going to talk about the single most important thing we can ever study as far as technique goes when we're trying to play fiddle, violin, be a fiddleist, however you want to think of yourself. It's the bow hold. Excuse me, I just spilled a glass of water on the floor, but that doesn't really matter to you. Does it? No, good. Nothing's gonna break. So you'll see why I had a glass of water there in a second. But this is it. This is it. Our violin is a wooden speaker. And just like any speaker, if it's gonna make a sound, it needs a sufficient power source. We can have the best left hand technique in the world. We can know all of the music, but by itself, there's no sound. And if we have an insufficient power source, we get something worse than no sound. We get a bad sound. So this is the great place to start when we're first learning to play. If we already know how to play, it's a really good thing to always go back and review because techniques change as we develop, and sometimes it doesn't always change for the better. So it's always good to come back to the beginning and just make sure we're still doing everything right. So what I want you to do is just take your bow, make sure the tip is pointed to your left, and then don't hit yourself in the face. Take your left hand, grab it like so. Right? I'm going to switch cameras so you can kind of see up close what I'm doing. Then I'm going to take my thumb, and I'm just going to flip the bow over so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to put it right here on this little nub of the frog. Put it back over. Right? I'm going to just stick it right there. Notice that it's flexed. My knuckle is bent when I do that. And that's very, very... If you get anything out of this lesson, it's you want to remember to play with a bent thumb. I'll show you why in a second, but thumb, right, that's step one. Next, we're going to take our pinky, I'm going to set it on the screw, and then I'm going to take my index finger, I'm going to lay it on the pad, and at this point, I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to let go. Next step, just take these two fingers and drape them over the bow. And that should give you, as long as this thumb remained bent, it can even, when I first started playing, my teacher told me to actually touch the hair with the knuckle of my thumb. A lot of people say you don't want to touch the bow hair, and that's true because of the oil in our fingers, but it can we don't really use that part of the bow there very much, so it can kind of be a landmark or sort. If you can feel the bow on the knuckle of your thumb, you have a bent thumb, and you're accomplishing something really important at that point. But nonetheless, this can still feel pretty awkward once we get to this point, but if we don't know what we're doing quite yet, I encourage you to go back, stop the video, rewind, and go back, because this next step it's going to require us to really know where all of those go. But this is going to help get rid of the tension, right? Because we don't want to play, if we play with a tight wrist and a tight forearm, that kind of forces us to play from the elbow exclusively, where we want all of them to, play and move in conjunction with each other, right? But if we lock our wrist, we lock our hand, we can see our range of motion on the bow is this way if we play just from the elbow, as opposed to up and down. So what I want you to do next is take your index finger of your left hand and just hang the bow from it like a pendulum. And then, remember where I told you to put all your fingers? We're not going to grab the bow. We're not going to grip the bow. We're going to hold the bow. It's a really good thing to remember. It's a bow hold. It's not a bow grip. It's a bow hold. Just set all of your fingers where I told you to put them. just set them there. Just touch the bow. All right, so my bent, remember, it's a bent thumb, is going to go here on the frog. My pinky, I'm just going to set it on the screw. Index finger, I'm just going to lay them down there. Now, I'm not gripping. I didn't grab it. But check this out. You take your left hand out. Gravity will push it into your hand. And it should feel pretty weightless. It's not until we tilt the bow over here, this way, that you will feel the bow, the weight of the bow. And it should be on this pinky right here. You should be counterweighting with your pinky. And then we can alleviate that again by just setting it on the string. So that's a bow hold. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. This glass of water trick. I can't remember if it was this take. This is actually I'll tell you a secret. This is the 4th take of this video that I've done today. But can't remember if it was the beginning of this one or the beginning of the last video. I spilled a glass of water, and I want to show you why that was here. So again, it comes down to being loose and relaxed while we hold our bow. The kids really have a fun time with this one. So a good way to kind of practice this range of motion is to take a glass of water, which mine is now empty in my socks on the floor. Dip your fingers in it and flick the water. That's your range of motion. So when we play, always remembering that our bow is kind of in this highway. We're in this little track over our F holes. We're not pulling it on any. We're not playing at any sort of weird angle like that. It's just moving straight up and down, right? When we play, relaxed, loose, fluid. So, but I think that's a good place to stop for today. If you have any questions or comments, you couldn't see anything, you think I could do something a little better, please let me know in the comment section, and please subscribe. Catch you next time.